Welcome to the Cash Bar. Diane, how are you?
I'm good. Hurricane didn't hurt me. How are you?
Through okay. We lost power for a night, but it was the nicest night that we could have without power. It was fantastic. There are really two kinds of comedy legends, I think. There's the guy who goes all the way and becomes famous and well known and revered for his abilities, who ends up influencing millions and millions and millions of comedy nerds. This is like the Norm Macdonald type. I think you can tell like how old people are by their favorite Saturday Night Live cast. Like if people ask like, who's your favorite Saturday Night Live cast? It's like, oh, it's Norm Macdonald, it's Spade, it's right. Sandler, it's those guys. Like, you're 41, right? Yes, I am. You were 12 or 13 in 92, 93. Yes, I was. That's when I was staying up late. Yep. Learning that Germans love David Hasselhoff. That was my favorite thing. Like, you come in Monday morning and start telling the Norm jokes. Yep. But then there's the second type of comedy legend, which is equally important, but not nearly so revered, and that's the local guy. That's the local guy who doesn't make it. The local guy who's memorable, who's crazy, who you just can't ever see enough of. And obviously everybody knows that Norm Macdonald passed away this week, and rest in peace to him. But locally, we lost a guy named J. Frederick Rhetoric, who was maybe the greatest open mic comic you will ever see. I mean, like, hands down. Like, the guy was a guitar comic. He would sing songs, so he was like well rehearsed. Like, this guy was in his bathroom mirror, he's sitting in his living room. Like, he wasn't like accidentally, like, everything he was doing on stage was very, very deliberate. And nothing he did on stage was ever even remotely sane.
No.
Not even within spitting distance of anything you would recognize as reality. He was surreal to the nth degree. I don't know if you didn't get a chance to see him. I really, really feel bad for you. But watching J. Frederick Rhetoric on an open mic comedy stage is some of the best times of my life. Like, and I got to see him for 20 years. He was great. Just an absolute legend. Nobody will ever hear of him. Like, there's nothing that he did that you could put on TV. Everything he did was crazy foul.
But like, so good. I always like, but wait, there's less. I mean, it was always like so fast too. And God, so many quotable moments. We're gonna miss you, J. Fred.
Just a comedy addict. Like, he was one of those guys that he could never turn it off. Like, he always had he was always going for the one-liner, even when you're sitting with him off stage. He was crazy, insane,
and nice. The nicest dude.
For sure. Like, I call it carny blood because I don't have any other explanation for it. Like, it's just like you're just, the entertainer is just in you. Like, you've got a little bit of it. I've got a little bit of it. That guy was the purebred. He was pure fucking carny blood. He didn't know how to do. He never knew. He couldn't not be entertaining. The switch was always on for him. It was amazing. Just amazing. I'm going to miss J. Frederick Rhetoric.
It's really
anyway.
I'm glad you brought him up.
I'm really excited about today's show for both reasons. I'm really excited about the song, and I'm really excited to talk to our guest. Our guest is Zahid Dewji. He is one of the organizers and managers of the Secret Group in Houston. He's also a comic in his own right. He opens for Whitney Cummings, which I am insanely jealous of.
You're going to have to hear it, Zahid. You're going to have to hear it from Ben right now.
How are you, Zahid? Thank you very much for coming on.
Of course, man. It's good to see you guys. I am a little tiny bit hungover, but it's 1:30, so I think I'll figure it out, you know?
Ben and I were talking shit about you. We're like, he's just fucking waking up, isn't he? Do you remember what it was like to not be up before 7 a.m., Ben?
Not anymore. No, when you get to a certain age, it just starts happening automatically. Like I'm a bartender. I don't get home till 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'm still like 10 o'clock. Like, all right.
Oh my God. Yeah, that happened. I know. I actually had a small meeting right before you guys I got pushed. That's why I had to push our thing. But
you're like, I was,
but that's where I tell my friends this all the time, because that's like the running joke with like, Zahid's not awake. I'm like, it's 3 p.m. Of course, I promise you, I'm an adult. But in Chicago, I was in Chicago like 2 weeks ago, and my body has started waking up naturally at 8 now. And even when I'm I'll wake up and I'm like pissed. I'm like, oh fuck, like it's up. And I went for like a walk at like 9 a.m. in Chicago, and I just remember thinking, I was like, man, no one told me that mornings were beautiful.
They're wonderful.
Like I just forgot. Like I fucking forgot that mornings are nice. Like,
when you're not hungover, it's delightful.
Yeah. Did you know life can be a wonderful thing? When you eliminate all the bad shit from it, when you take out all your horrible habits. Yeah. I'm gonna get a Peloton.
I walk my dog at like 7 a.m. and I see the morning dew on the spider webs, and I'm like, you guys are missing out.
It's so true. I don't know what happened, but one day I was just like, oh shit, I think I'm in love with life. Fuck. Just like angry
anymore.
Yeah, angry about my optimism. I just it's brutal.
It's a horrible thing to fall in love with.
By the way,
get everybody.
Yeah. Ben, first of all, I'm sorry for that guy passed away. He seemed like a good comic, and the way you introduced him for a second, I thought you were going to introduce me, and you were like, some people, they just never. These local guys, they stay local. They're never going to make it. You can see them everywhere. And I was like, hey, man, I'm trying.
Dude, when they coming? What do you want from me?
Give me a little bit of time. I'm 34.
You're not going to stay local for long. Sorry. It looks like they're doing the lawn outside my window.
Oh, I don't hear it.
That's right. Good. Then we'll just ignore it. We'll go right through it. Zahid, welcome to the Cash Bar. You're the guest. You got to pick the song, and I couldn't be happier with the song that you picked. You picked Whiter Shade of Pale, which is a very, very intimate song for me. I mean, and for a lot of people. Obviously, it's a huge, big song. But why Whiter Shade of Pale for you?
I got a lot of stuff to tell you guys, dude. All right, the story behind it for me. I'm actually like writing down notes of things I want to talk to you guys about with this song as we speak, because I became obsessed with it. But I'm a music major. I mean, like guitar, piano. I was teaching that a lot at the beginning of doing comedy, and I was at a party in Brooklyn when I was. It was 2008. I must have been 20. I think I just turned 21, and it was this crazy party called Rubelud, which is at the time. This is like right at the beginning of the iPhone, so everything is like, there's still some sacredness left in the world, like hidden gems and stuff. Everything is not like, so there's a secret party. You could only get invited if somebody knew you. Ooh. And so it was crazy. And that's like the last of it, because now everyone knows everything at every time.
Yeah.
And so there's this giant building in Brooklyn, and every level was it was like Game of Death for partying. Like, you've ever seen that movie, A Game of Death with Bruce Lee? Every level, he has to like beat somebody. So every level is a different party. One level had like a fucking marching band in it, like straight up a real. I swear to God, like one was like all glow stick paint. So you walk in and everything's like glowing, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Amazing.
So I made it all the way to the roof. At every level, it was like 8 floors of like different parties on each floor. And I made it to the roof, and I had taken a little bit of ecstasy, and maybe a lot of it. And I was talking to some girl, and on the rooftop, they had this big projector, and they were just projecting music videos and songs. And I'm talking to this girl, and I remember I'm like, this is amazing. Like, it's obviously the drugs. And she was nice.
Your hair.
Yes. Oh my God. That's like the greatest. If you can sum up ecstasy in one feeling, it's that. It's
the hair.
Look what it did to Diane's face.
So many memories. I'm just gonna leave my hair like this.
Oh my God, yeah. I felt like I felt your memories when you went the hair.
It's all hair and lotion for me.
So I'm like talking to her, and then I hear this music come up, and it was like so distractingly good. And I turn around, and I'm watching that video, that sort of like Alfred Hitchcock, sort of from the corner on the ground. And I literally stopped talking to her. Like I just walked away from the conversation.
Like
if I I fucking killed that bitch. I left and I went to this projector and I sat down like a child, like crisscross, on the floor in this party, and I'm just watching this fucking music video, and I turn around and I'm crying.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm crying, and I've never had a visceral reaction like that. Obviously,
your first time hearing the song?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so my friend Ina's like, what's going on? I was like, I think I just heard the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life. And for months after that, I couldn't hear the song again because I would start crying.
Oh my god.
And I don't know why. I mean, I can't. And then I looked into it, and there's all this fucking folklore and magic behind it, and the recording, the lyrics, other people's reactions to it. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that lives on in the ether.
As a music,
the song is straight up haunted. It is.
Now, mine's real quick. I was going to say, I knew that you were a music major, that you taught music. So I wanted to know if you were going to go into the Bach of it all, like the
the Bach and Sweet G. Yeah. I think it was Sweet and G, which is a leading line. It's called ground bass. John Lennon does it a lot. It's basically when I'll bring you over. This is wild, but you can. All right, I'm going to do a little showing off here, but I mean it correct. I mean it correctly. But if you see this, it's just, you take the root note and you're just dropping it. And then you're back around. So it's like a circle.
I could do that.
So yeah, it's fucking easy. And so everyone was like, they stole Bach's Sweet and G. And I'm like, no, he just does. That's Mind Games by John Lennon. That graduation song that we all, as we go back. It's the same.
Yes.
It's the same line. Oasis's "Don't Look Back in Anger."
Yes.
Wider Shade of Pale. It's the same running ground bass drop root, the root note dropping. So it's the same thing. But I think Bach literally wrote the book on music, actually wrote it, not even the phrase, he literally wrote how to write music. So
right.
I think it's an easier, when he's the first one and this song is so famous, they're we have to relate it to something. So
yeah. This song is it has a power. This is the song that I go to when I'm at my worst.
Really?
Every now and again. Yeah, I'm a self-destructive person. I find that about every 5 years or so, I just throw everything out. I just explode my life, or I just let it go off. And
right,
every
we
time
got 4 years left on this podcast then.
The clock starts now, counting down to the whiter shade of pale. No, but I find when I find myself in those moments of complete collapse or complete desperation, whiter shade of pale is my comfort music. It's my comfort food. It's my turkey. It's my whiskey. And I give it its power. I don't put on whiter shade of pale when I'm feeling good. I only do it when I'm fucking sour. When it's real bad.
It's a song that you listen to. You don't really just be just put it on the background. It was on the background at a party, and I couldn't even talk to somebody. I had to leave. I
don't know how to put it, but the organ line vibrates the same way my spirit does when it's sad.
Yeah.
And it's just it's the same kind of it's we're dancing. My sadness in that song, we're doing a tango. It's weird.
I love that.
I don't know how to explain without being a dipshit.
I think you explained it perfectly, honestly. My sadness and the music are dancing. That's so good.
I feel the writer would be so happy to hear this. We'll get into what he wanted when he wrote these lyrics and the music, and I think he would be so happy to hear this, just the feelings it invokes. You said something about it being haunting or haunted, you cried, you relate it to sadness. To me, there's a dark spookiness to it. There's a lot of feelings to come out of this.
For sure.
What I did want to say though really quick was that I did a month-long tour, and then the 2 weeks in California, I kept noticing synchronicities in my life, in the trip, and I kept bringing it up to my tour mate Caleb, and I was every like that this is happening. And it's linking up. But it was really funny to me to send you this song, and you were like, "Oh my God, I wanted to do that song. Why would you pick that song?"
Literally an hour before you said that, I was like, I really want to do Brighter Shade of Pale. And then you said that, and I was like, dude, our planes are crossing right now.
That shit's been happening to me a lot recently. So it's definitely I don't know. It's like a double down. I'm just like, yep, of course you were ready to do that song already.
Well, here's another added addition that I thought about. You saying you believe in synchronicity, and it was happening.
Oh, yeah.
So Norm Macdonald died a few days ago, and I was listening to Conan talk about him on his podcast this morning, and they were talking about what a huge fan of Bob Dylan that Norm Macdonald was. He even stayed at his house with him, and they were a huge fan of Dylan, and Dylan was a big inspiration for the writer, the guy who wrote this song. So I mean, it's just all souping together right now.
Yeah, man. Also, can you think of a more annoying conversation than Bob Dylan and Norm Macdonald talking to each other? I cannot think of two people I'd want to punch more at the same. Oh yeah, did you do that thing? Yeah, you did that, yeah. Did that whole Bob Dylan song, yeah. Just that cadence.
Well, they were talking about his like Norm Macdonald's cadence and his politeness, but it's also like 1920s way of talking with
I love that.
It's just very Canadian. Ben, do you agree? Ben's Canadian.
Yeah. There's a weird like ending the sentence on the uptick that they both do.
Yeah.
But it's like, but going after different things. Like Norman Down's like, isn't that funny? And then Bob Dylan like, isn't that sincere? Like,
they're both. I've always thought this in comedy and music too, but even if you're not listening to the words of what the person is saying, the cadence and the musicality in which they talk is so important.
Yeah.
And I think, you're listening to that without even realizing how much you're taking that in.
Yeah, I think it's 90. No offense to Nate Bargatze, is 95% why he's successful is his cadence. He's also a brilliant joke writer, but man, no one can tell his joke in their voice. It has to be his voice. It has to be his rhythm. It's
I just love the confusion that he has with every line. He's like, I just think is it that? Like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So good.
I've always thought like ever since I was, there's very, very few comedians that get to the very, very top level, right? Like there's, I mean, there's 30 or 50 like people on Netflix that are great comics, but then every generation there's like 2 or 3 people that can really play the audience as if they were an instrument, like they were the audience becomes the comedian's instrument. And that's
thank
like
you, Ben.
That's great.
But
well, all through this, we got to set it up like we're about to talk about Zahid, but we're not.
When you get a chance to see the truly, truly great comics, like when you see David Tell live, you see Jake Johansson live, or Hedberg, if you can like strategic grill locations, about 20 minutes when there's about 20 minutes left, like Hedberg says something like, okay, I got about 20 minutes to go. And then he just steps it up into high gear.
Yeah.
Like he just like, it's amazing to know that like there are guys who can do that, who can just go, all right, I'm going to put you where you need to be. And here we go right now. And it's really rare. Like it's rare.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail everything.
No, I like it.
But that is like, I think at the very top level, a comedian plays the audience the way a musician plays.
That's my goal, to be the new Dave Patel. Fucking hate myself.
Right.
Dude. Oh my God.
You want to get all dorm room? Let's get into these lyrics.
Let's do it.
We skip the light fandango, turns cartwheels across the floor.
Maybe one of the greatest openings in songwriting ever. We skip the light fandango, turn cartwheels across the floor. Love it. I just love it. It's like, I'm a word nerd, probably more than anything, more than a comedy nerd, more than anything else. Like, it's just words. I just like it. We skipped the light fandango, turned cartwheels across the floor.
What do you picture? What do you picture when he says that?
this song, like I always picture like the decadent scene. Like I always picture like it. This song is very like, it starts off very like Great Gatsby to me. Like
Yes,
it's
1920s party.
yeah, like
Yeah,
it's very
Gatsby.
much that way. I hadn't thought about it this way, but like I always thought we skipped the light fandango meant like okay, like you're skipping, like you're happy, you know, you're doing the dance, you're doing the
Oh, I thought it was like we moved past like the small talk.
Yeah,
Oh.
I never thought about that until I was doing the research this
we
week.
were like, we went
this
right past this shit, and we were like, let's get to fucking or whatever fucking thing we're.
Yep, I think that's
100%
the way it is. I never thought about like the 30 years I've loved this song. I never thought about it that way, but I think that's exactly the way. Like we skipped over the light fandango. Like we're not going to do the little get to know you dance. We skipped that shit. We're going right into the meat of the matter.
Yeah. It's
I am so grateful for the both of you right now because I get it now. I was always like, and I'm not usually like this with the song, but I was like, what? Fandango? That's what you would call to find out what movies were playing at your local theater. What?
Yeah, he was ahead of his time, actually.
What's
Knew
a
about
fandango?
Yeah, man, it's that's a killer opening line though, for sure.
Right.
I was feeling kind of seasick. The crowd called out for more.
I was feeling kind of seasick, but the crowd called out for more. I'm interested to hear how you guys feel about this because you're performers. You're touched the same way that I am. Like, does that line? I don't know. Like I don't know how to describe it. Does it kind of like set off your performer ego a little bit? I was feeling kind of seasick, but the crowd called out for more. There's no way to talk about this without sounding like an arrogant prick. But every time I've heard that line, you know, I'm like I felt that. You know what I mean? Because you have the need to entertain, you have the need to make people laugh, you have the need to communicate, the need to connect. You're always feeling like the crowd is calling out for more, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. For me, it was more of like how do you say it, like a intangible crowd, like just the feeling to keep on going, even like how do I say this, not like a real crowd, but like the feeling you get when you have that feeling. Does that make sense?
I do. I know
for sure.
Yeah.
It's like I have this feeling and I need to express it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you imagine a crowd like asking you to do it.
Yes.
Nobody asked for this song. Nobody asked for this joke. Like it's a thing. It's self-generated, but I feel like they're demanding it from me.
Well, I think like even if you look at the next, I'm only skipping ahead on the lyrics because it helps me explain that better. But when he's like, the room was humming harder as the ceiling flew away, it's a very like hummy line.
Yeah.
You know, so it might, you know, there seems to be like a little drunken sexual undertone, and that's kind of when I get the feeling of like, but the crowd's like, keep going.
Yeah. I really like the line that the ceiling flew away, because like I think I felt that a couple of times, especially when you're talking to a lady where you think it might go in the direction that you're hoping it goes in. It's like it's just the two of you and the ceiling flies away and you're there under the starry sky. It's romance.
Anal. It's great.
I can hear it now. Yeah.
Sorry
I can hear it too.
It might go on through the whole thing. I apologize.
The guy
Your yard is this big.
I know, but it's the whole ground.
I wanted the guy to like come into your office and start doing it. And you're like, there's not even any grass in here. What are you doing, man?
It's just like
he's like, no, I ruined podcasts all around this neighborhood, dude. This is what I do.
The room was humming harder, you said? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Did you say that?
So okay. Your neighbor has a chess podcast. I got rid of all the true crime people last year.
Well, I was going to say about this line, I was still just thinking about the party that they're at when he says, I was feeling kind of seasick, but the crowd called out for more. Like he was kind of getting tired, but everybody was still partying. Like everybody still wanted to go.
Yeah.
But it's hard not to picture a scene now. And we're going to get into this because I know you said there's a good theory about what I'm about to say. The writer said he was, trying to do a feeling in a location. And when you say seasick in a room, it's hard not to think about a ship. It's hard not to think about a big cruise ship,
For sure.
Oh yeah. It's
when we called out
there's
for
a lot
another
of
drink.
Oh, sorry.
No, go
we
for it.
called out for another
Go.
drink. The waiter brought the tray. Sorry,
I fucking love that line. That's like that's like my favorite line because it encapsulates so much of what my life is, and I hate it. Like, I mean that in a positive way. I mean that when you're like, man, okay, I'll come meet you for a beer, but nothing crazy tonight.
Yes.
And it's like
No
3 in the morning, and you're like, what the fuck happened? What happened? And I feel like that is, we called out for one more drink, and the waiter's like, well, here's this entire cart.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
The kind of
So
shit
it's
my husband does. We're like, one more drink, and he comes back with an entire tray of like 20 tequila shots.
Yeah, it's like super decadent, super indulgent, opulence, a mess at the same time. It's all those things like wrapped into one. So I love that line.
All right, let's go.
As the miller told his tale, that her face at first just ghostly turned the whiter shade of pale.
And so it was that later, as the miller told his tale, that her face at first just ghostly turned a whiter shade of pale. Love it.
Diane,
Hard
spooky,
not-
you said?
What's that?
When you said the song was spooky, that like even the way Ben read it right now. I mean, that's fucking poetry, but it's like, ooh, it's very Halloween,
I'm gonna say something that makes me mad about this line. Okay, I've read so much into what Keith Reed, the guy who wrote the lyrics, says about this, and everyone who reads this thinks that he's talking about the Miller's Tale from the Canterbury Tales, which was the crude tale that was like, in opposition of the Knight's Tale, which was about this virtuous woman, and this one's about like a kind of a slutty woman who makes a guy kiss her ass, and it's great, it's funny, and it's crude. And Keith says no, he's never even read it. He's like, I never even read the Canterbury Tales, and this is not about that. And I'm like, then what? Okay, why would you say the Miller told his tale? No one just thinks of that. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I think he's backing off. Like I really, and like obviously I'm probably like conferring my own dipshittiness onto it, but I think that like this was a young man who did write a song with a reference to the Canterbury Tales, which is kind of a precocious and dipshitty thing to do. And then as he got older, he recognized that and then wants to back away from it. But I really can't see. Do you know what I mean? Like he's trying to cover for it. It's just like, yeah, I was a pretentious dipshit when I was in my mid-20s. Now
I see what you're saying. That's funny, man.
Yeah.
He went as far as
backing away from it. But like there's no if it's not the Miller from the Canterbury Tales, then what is it? Like it's the Miller told his tale. It's pretty specific.
No one talks about the Miller just ambiguously. Like
wait, you don't just bring up Millers randomly in conversation?
Nope.
Come on, guys. I'd say once a week I talk about the Miller.
Mm-hmm. Shoe cobblers, tallow chandlers, yes. Millers, no. Millers.
I love a good blacksmith tale. It's my favorite.
I like what you're saying, Ben, though, because he's quoted as saying, maybe that's something I knew subconsciously. Like, I'm so subconsciously smart and well-versed into literature. I just didn't even it's just something I do.
That's so funny. I think I love this. I love it specifically because this is the chorus. And usually with choruses, I don't know, you get some separation, like that lets you know it's a chorus that's happening. But I'm still thinking about the musical structure. Yeah. I'll tell you honestly, I've never really given a shit about lyrics. A lot of the times when I hear comics, the funniest things that even comics say are the stuff that aren't jokes, that are the things that are coming, when you accidentally leak, when you leak parts of yourself by accident, they come out, like some guy like eats shit and he's like, all right, so dating, and then like that's funnier than anything he said
I know what you mean.
because he's accidentally leaking that other joke ate shit, and that's more like
Yeah.
yum 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 for me. So this is especially cool because then you hear the and so it was, and then you hear that like that organ that you were talking about, Ben, that comes in, and then there's this fucking explosion here. But lyrically, I mean, it's just an extension of what was just happening. So there's nothing about the chorus. Sorry, there's nothing about it lyrically that separates the setup, but musically, it's this fucking gigantic refrain, you know? So
Right.
Yeah.
so
And
cool.
And that's undergirded by the lyrics. Like I've always been fascinated by that line because it's like her face at first just ghostly turned a whiter shade of pale. So it's like things were already not good. And then they got so much worse.
Yeah.
Just in a few words. Like I love the way and that's what's fun about comedy. Like obviously like you can change the mood 180 degrees in 2 or 3 words.
Yeah.
But the cool part, like yes, completely yes. But if you listen on the song musically, he's going the turn to wider shade of pale. The chord structure that he uses there are to get back to the key that the song is in. This is a happy musical phrase.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen just to that line, it turned a wider shade of pale. So
you're right.
It's sung happily. It's not sung dark or sad. So
You're
it's
right.
even weirder that the thing that he's talking about is fucking ghostly and spooky, but the music is like actually the happier part of the song.
Yeah, I think that's probably why this song, like this song always feels like what, like it sounds like what it must feel like to go insane to me. Like that's the way I've always felt about it. Like, and it must be because of that emotional imbalance that you're talking about. Like it is like a victorious melody, but a very dire words.
Even the
like,
music.
What do I do with this?
You've seen the music video, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you have.
Yeah. So like you know, you have that Alfred Hitchcock camera angle, which is like on the floor, like almost Blair Witch Project, like somebody dropped it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it has that insanity even visually.
You said you saw this, you watched this on ecstasy. I wonder what different reaction you would have had if you had seen it on acid.
Oh yeah, man. That whole 2 years was a very, very crazy 2 years. So I don't know.
Hi guys, sorry, I have to interrupt real quick. I was having issues with Zoom. I don't know what happened. I was paying for this like standard annual plan where you don't have a limited amount of minutes. In the last 2 podcasts I've done, I get a message in the middle of recording that I'm running out of time. So I had to pause the recording, and when we come back, Zahid is playing music on his piano and showing us something cool. So I wanted to come in and break it up and explain to you what's happening, because I want you guys to hear what he's playing, so that you're not confused. But anyway, okay, back to the show.
I'll get it. All right.
That's awesome.
I couldn't not do it because you guys gave me like a little bit of a break.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you play it? Can you play that by ear?
Yeah.
Like, like you're not obviously reading sheet music. You haven't practiced it. Like you can.
That one, yeah, because it's the same. Like I said, it's like the same circular chord progression, which is like, you know, you can. It's like, yeah, that one, yeah, but not. I mean, not everything. There's certain stuff that I hear that I'm like, oh, I don't know what's right. But that, yeah, it's like it's a very simple melody, but it's pretty fucking cool. So.
That's amazing, man. Like I was like, I'm fascinated by music, but I've never studied. I had piano lessons when I was a kid, but I quit when I was real young. Like I have no musical talent whatsoever, no skills. But it's incredible to me. Like, to see somebody like you who can do that. My cousin is that way. So you just hear something and just goes, all right, here. But it's because of you put in, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours learning how to do it.
Well, I also think that, I mean, this honestly, I can see so many similarities with comedy and music a lot of the times, especially like even in visual art, cooking especially too. I say that because it's like you can learn you can sort of learn some of the underpinning theory behind it. And a lot of the times that people who have trouble with piano lessons and stuff too, or music, is they don't teach music theory till second semester of senior year of high school.
Right.
But our entire musical system is based off of 12 notes. And so if you can count to 12, you can learn theory. So waiting till high school to teach theory is like fucking stupid, because it's like you're teaching algebra.
Yeah.
They can count to 12.
Yeah.
Like, show someone the theory earlier and they'll be able to figure out the patterns.
My
and they'll
son
know so
is
much
in-
about the, you know.
My son's in School of Rock and he plays guitar and he's 7 and he just gets it. Like he just gets it. And I'm like, they should all start this early.
Yeah, it's wild to me. Like my degree specifically in music education. So I think when I started understanding that theory was important to learn, because I mean, it's the same thing with comedy. It's like, okay, sure, you can go out and write the same joke every time, or you can start to figure out what is theoretically funny and then build different concepts around that. So
Like it.
yeah,
different routes to the same destination. What are the 12
Absolutely.
notes? Like I was like, and again, like I don't know anything about music, so I apologize.
Yeah, we'll do like a little.
Ignorant.
No, I love talking about it. It's like my favorite
you
thing.
said 12 notes, and my brain just
So-
immediately just went do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Is
Right,
7 or
but then you
8,
have
if I'm not
these.
mistaken.
Right, so you have this like do, re, mi, that right there, right? But if you look, you see this pattern of 2 black keys and 3 black keys.
Yeah.
Then they repeat again, right?
Okay.
So it's just really, music is everything from my thumb to my pinky right here, and it's these what we call accidentals, these notes in between the do and re. So do, re, re. So you have these notes in between. So you have do, re, mi, or do, re, re, mi, me.
Interesting.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then you're right back to the same note again.
Whoa.
I get it. I understand now. Everyone said if you teach a kid piano first, he can pick up any instrument after that.
Yeah, it's the most visual because it's literally black and white. Like you can see what's pulled away. Whereas if you look at a fucking guitar, I mean, if you look at a guitar, it's all the same. Everything's the same. Like if you just look at this, you're like, what is this? What's happening?
Right.
But you look at that and you're like, oh, I get that. I can see when things are different. So
that's awesome. All right, let's jump back into the lyrics just in case we go long again. I don't want to off on us.
All right, we're going into the second verse. There's only 2 verses to this song. She said there is no reason and the truth is plain to see, but I wandered through my playing cards and I would not let her be. Like I like that.
Right.
Like Diane, I'm
Great
sorry
visual.
to leave you out of this one, but that's a very that's a great dude couplet. Like that's exactly how it is. You know, she said there is no reason and the truth is plain to see. Like you could take it like from the plain Jane, like she doesn't want to talk to you, man. Like leave her alone. Like no, she hasn't seen my card tricks yet.
Hold on. I'm gonna pull out everything I got.
Yeah, I'm not done trying.
Yeah.
But even the visual imagery of the phrase playing cards, all of a sudden there's like this magical vaudevillian sort of world. So it kind of brings it back to Gatsby or that, you know, that visual world, whatever that is, opulence, and just a guy that has actual playing cards in my head still somehow.
Yeah.
And it's a choice of words. I wandered through my playing cards. Like,
Yes.
You don't have a plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do I got in my bag of tricks?
Yeah, wandered is really, really good. It's very, very visual.
Then that's the thing that good writers, whether comedy or songs, it's like really nitpicking that perfect word.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. You find the one word and all of a sudden the fucking joke is like a new joke and you're like, what?
Yep.
I was reading it was like Doug Stanhope's blog like years ago. He was talking about exactly that. Like he was comparing himself to it, like a friend of his who was a writer. And he goes, yeah, this guy just writes like thousands of words of prose. But then meanwhile, like my writing day is just sitting there at the notebook, just going, dry rot cunt or rat bit cunt. That's 4 hours.
Dude, in his last book, he describes, God, I wish I could just pull it out of my ass, but you could tell he did this. He found the perfect phrase to describe Johnny Depp's wife, and it's so fucking good. And I knew you were going to say that, because I would just ripped it out, but it's so good. He's so good at that. And I love the pointed effort that him and comedians like him put into finding the exact perfect word, Yeah.
The right way to do it.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, that's funny.
One of 16 Vestal virgins who were leaving for the coast. What's fun about this song is there's a couple of things that you can Google search for, and Vestal Virgins was one of the first ones. I've always known this song, so I've always heard the phrase Vestal Virgin. I never looked it up until this week. It's a Roman god, right? So it's the temple of Vesta, and apparently Vesta was the goddess of the hearth. So like the goddess of the kitchen. Like this is very much like a maternal and a matronly sort of thing. They had there were only 6, not 16. So like from the limited research that I did, it sounds like the lyricist had that half wrong. But if you were chosen to be one of the 6 Vestal virgins, then it was a really, you were very high in this particular religion. And that meant that you were basically taking care of the temple of Vesta, which meant that you were keeping like the eternal flame lit. Yep. You were, when the festival of Vesta came around, you were preparing the ritual foods. You had to stay virginal for
be a virgin.
For 20 or 30 years that you would serve. And
that's why I did it.
Exactly.
I was like, boring. There's a bunch of celibate prudes in the kitchen. No, thank you.
No, thank you. It's so funny. No, thank you. I don't know why that immediately made me think of Sarah Tolamash.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you know what it is? She has that joke. I was telling somebody that joke, but I was telling my friend Kayla that where she was like, this girl was like, "Can I be honest with you?" And I was like, "No, thank you." Okay. And then she goes, "Ooh, that was a close one."
Can I give you like some advice? And she's like, "Woo, I almost got my feelings hurt there."
Yeah, that's what it was. Love that. With this, that what I love about that is like all of a sudden there's biblical imagery. It's what it felt like without knowing that Vesta was like a Roman thing. I hear like 16 virgins, and it just brings back ISIS camp for me. No, we'd all get around and talk about all the virgins we're gonna fuck after dinner. But I was thinking, when you said six, when you think of you said it was supposed to be 6 virgins. Do you think it's one of those things where like sometimes in songs or in maybe even comedy, it's like you need an extra syllable to make it work? So he's like, one of 6 virgins, and he's like, I need another thing, and he goes, I'll just turn it to 16, and it'll bounce.
I do think that happens, because you see it with a lot of songs when just like when they throw in like the loves or the yads or the childs. You had a syllable, you had a beat that you needed to fill.
What's that?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was gonna make a dumb joke. Obviously, he thinks we're all dumb. We don't, he's the scholar that doesn't even know he's talking about the Miller. He's like, they're not gonna do their research. They're not gonna know.
Yeah. Well, guess what, dude? There's about to be the fucking internet. We're gonna bury you, writer of this song. Do you ever, that song, obviously by America, Horse with No Name? And my brother and I always talk about it because the last line is, because there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
God.
And it's like, he doesn't need the for, like,
one to give
makes, because there ain't no one for to give you no pain. But he has to include the for, otherwise the fucking bounce of the line doesn't work.
Right.
Yep.
So my brother and I always like, why is that word there? It doesn't make sense. But when you take it out, then you can't sing it, because there's like this fucking gap where there should be something.
That's fun. That's a fun part of songwriting that I've never considered. Yeah. Like, you got to keep with the pace.
Yeah. So one of 16 Vestal virgins, which also, I mean, the alliteration, it's just like so mouth. It's so good on your mouth. Jesus Christ.
So these Vestal virgins lived a very nice life. They were exalted members of their religion, but if they failed at any of their duties, they'd be buried alive because, yeah. Well, I mean, spilling virgin's blood
No,
is
thank you.
then as now, like just not. It's frowned upon. Like,
Yeah, it's frowned upon.
You're not going to be getting many brunch invites. Like, no, he spilled virgin's blood the last time we invited him.
That's so funny as like a sketch, like back in Roman times when there's like this still like a guy who like can't hold his liquor, is like too much. He's like, dude, you won't believe it last time, man. He spilled the virgin's blood. He's like the worst.
Write it down.
I love that.
So I have a question.
Sorry. I love that no matter, I've thought about this a lot, and not to be like all like bits, but a little bit, but throughout the aeons, the same archetypes exist. Like bros boarded the Titanic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just weren't called bros, but they were like, man, this shit's like never gonna sink, dude. Like that personality exists. We just have a word for it now. And like, yeah, in the Roman times, there was a guy who drank too much and did that, and you were like, oh, he's the worst.
You know it. Did they have Chads back in Roman times?
Yes, they did. They did. His fucking brush, his horse was like dirty, and his brush was too big, and they just didn't call him a Chad. They had some fucking Roman word for it, but everyone made the same eye motions when he talked about him.
Mhm.
I think Caesar is the ultimate Chad.
Yeah.
Or you got laws? I got an army of bros.
Yeah.
Across that river.
Yeah, we get it, Caesar. God, this fucking guy. Fucking somebody kill him.
Idea.
So, okay, I'm wondering, is he talking about these Vestal virgins because he put this woman up on this type of pedestal and he's about to lose her? Is that what is
that's what I
happening here?
thought.
Okay.
Yeah, because he says who are leaving for the coast, and I just thought of like, you know, there's again that ship sort of metaphor you were talking about earlier up top. So maybe it was like this one girl from this group of girls that I really liked is what I kind of took from it.
Yeah.
I also think of it as like the kind of like the arrogant dude optimism. Like she's one of 16. All right, there's only 16 of them, so they're rare, but there's also 15 other ones. You know,
okay.
who are leaving for the coast. So there's also just like time crunch, man.
Yeah.
This guy's a real dirtbag. The more I used to cry to this song, Ben.
I still
You ruined it. You ruined it. Now we're just picturing Chads and
yeah, motherfucker.
One of 16 Vestal virgins who were leaving for the coast. So like I said, I'm kidding with the time crunch thing, but if the Vestal virgins are leaving for the coast, that shit's happening.
Yeah.
They're devoted. Like if the Vestal virgins are like, I'm out of here, I'm leaving the temple, like I'm gone. Time to evacuate. That is a lights up, lines on the face.
Yeah. It could be a sort of like, you know, end of the night type thing. I don't know.
well, okay, I'll just interject here after reading what Keith Reed says, that this is just you know, he even says a straightforward girl leaves boy story. I'm like, bitch, what? There's no straightforward in this lyric. What are you talking about? But when after knowing that, when he says leaving for the coast, like this is that symbolism of the girls leaving him.
Yes, for sure.
Which is a very strangely poetic route to get to that, but okay. Yeah.
I think overall this is a one night stand, and it's a one night stand that's regrettable and probably had like huge reverberations through all 3 or 4 of these characters' lives. You know, like I think that's what he's getting at. Like he's trying to drive at that, like, okay, and now it's time for, you know how it is. Like it's like the David Tell joke. Like sometimes, like, you know, having sex is like leaving a murder scene. Like, we gotta get out of here.
That was a great impression right there at the end. I like that. That sounded very, very, very David Tell.
Well, Zahid, we were doing comedy in the early 2000s, and let me tell you, every male comic was doing David Tell. They've all got it down.
Yeah.
Every open mic across the nation had like 16 David Tells.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I was one of them.
I don't remember seeing it in you as so much as like Danny Rios was I mean, just had it. And I don't even think on purpose. Nobody was doing it on purpose, but he was just so fucking good. You know, he could not do a little Attell.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, if you're a comedy nerd, there's no way for like a new stand-up, like if you've only been doing it for even like 5 years, there's no way you can hide your influences. Like I can go to any open mic and just go, that guy loves Norm, that guy loves Conan. Like
right.
you can, it's easy to do once you know who.
It's so straight. It's so strange too, because in like, you know, music, there's always that like influence stuff that comes out, and people are like, people love it, and then comedy comes out, they're like, go kill yourself.
You're like, this is a generational thing though. I mean, look back in the 20s, they all they all sounded the same, and 90s grunge, everybody sounded the same. Like it just happens, you know.
Yeah. No, it totally does, man.
All right, let's wrap this up, these lyrics.
And although my eyes were open, they might just as well have been closed. And then go back into the chorus. And so it was that later, as the miller told his tale, that her face at first was gold, between the white trail pale. I love that line. Although my eyes were open, they might just as well have been closed. Like that's how I feel
so much in my life, honestly. Yeah, it's such a fucking tremendous line.
Yeah.
I really like it because like one of my favorite, the best jokes are staring everybody right in the face, right? Like when Saturday Night Live had the best example I can think of relatively recently, last year, when President Trump got COVID, Michael Che had a line where he goes, and we wish the president a lengthy recovery. Like, all right, like regardless of how you feel politically, like that's a fucking
that's so
great.
funny. Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's there for everybody. Like comedy's a farm. Like you can just go pick that right pumpkin. It's right there. There's no reason why you couldn't have thought of it or I couldn't have thought of it. Like it's staring you right in the face. The best jokes always are.
I love it too, because it's like it's also a really good refrain or a callback, if you will, to the first two lines of that verse. She goes, "There is no reason, and the truth is plain to see." And if you skip right past all the other lines, you go straight to the last two. And although my eyes were open, they might as well just as well been closed, even if they don't rhyme. Sorry, I'm getting a call and I'm trying to get rid of it. Sorry. There you go. I think it's like a callback to truth. It's like, even though my eyes were open, I couldn't see what the truth was. And and she says at the beginning, she goes, "There's no reason, and you can see the truth." And he just does not want to, whatever that truth is.
Yeah. It makes it seem like there's something like probably everyone else could see it so clearly. He's the only one that couldn't.
Yeah. So that, I mean, the whole verse, and it seems to be sort of like a lying to yourself.
I wonder if it is that simple. Like this is obviously just a guy who's out there like going for the one night stand. You know, he doesn't realize that, like, okay, well, you're dealing with a lady, so like doesn't matter what happens, things are going to get more emotionally complex than you're willing to deal with.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, is it just on that level where it's just like it's just a guy just like looking to get his, and then the lady going like, "You're gonna have to play my game." Yeah,
maybe it is a lot simpler than we thought it was.
Yeah,
you told us.
I've never considered a one night stand. It just seems like so much more emotionally deep. I see it more of what he said is a girl leaves boy, and like he even says like he's trying to get the feeling, like in the line where he says the roof was humming harder and the ceiling flew away. He was writing that as like how you feel when someone's leaving you and you don't want them to leave.
For sure.
Which I was like, ooh, that's good imagery, because it does feel like your life's just getting wrecked. But Ben, I haven't heard, and you said we're going to save it for the pod. I want to hear the Titanic theory.
All right, this is I read it online. I'd never thought of it before, but the theory is that this song takes place on the deck of the Titanic on the night that it sinks.
I love that.
It weirdly holds up. Like, I don't think for a second that that's what the lyricist intended.
What?
But it does work. Like it works. It's fine. Like skip the light fandango, maybe not so much. Turn cartwheels across the floor. Well, like apparently on the deck of the Titanic, as it's sinking, you're trying to keep the children cheerful. You're trying to keep everything going. So the kids are like literally just like, we're up late. It's after midnight. We're turning cartwheels. Like they're trying to. There's stories of that. The crowd called out for more. Is like the ship is definitely sinking. Like we're definitely doomed. Bad things are going to happen. Like so, what do you want? Like there's going to be that emotional tumult that comes up in a large group of people who are staring death in the face. The room was humming harder. Like the electricity would start to like the lights are going to start to flicker. The engines are going to start to like they're going to be doing everything that they possibly can. Plus the panic that's coming up among everybody else. The room is definitely going to be humming harder. The ceiling flew away. There's a glass dome over the apparently over like one of the main dining halls of the Titanic, and as it snapped in half, apparently that sheared itself off. The waiter brought the tray. Like, all right, well, what else are you gonna do? Like, here comes the waiter. Yeah, like it's pretty easy to see.
Yeah,
she said there is no reason. Like, or it's an unsinkable ship. Like that's what you've been told over and over and over again. Because like, it can't possibly go down. The guy who wrote this theory says that, and this is where this is why I don't believe that this is actually what the lyricist intended, but it's just a fun rabbit hole to go down.
Love that. Love a good rabbit hole.
He says the miller was meant to be the mayor, and like the mayor of the ship, as I guess what he's getting at, or something like that. Like it's as the mayor told his tale, and it's the mayor saying like this ship is unsinkable. Like don't worry about that. But the truth is plain to see. Well, the fucking thing's going down. This is unsinkable. Why are the lifeboats in the water? This is the one that kind of gets all conspiracy theory, but that like who doesn't love a good conspiracy theory? One of 16 Vestal virgins. This guy says that, well, maybe the correct lyric is one of 16 vessel virgins.
Yeah.
And apparently the Titanic was one of 16 new ships that were making the transatlantic
crossing.
Get the
farts out of here. What?
Didn't look it up. Don't know. Cannot confirm.
I love this.
That was one of those
great.
things just like, I don't want to follow up. I don't want to find out that it's not true.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I learned.
It seems that although your eyes are open, they might as well just as well have been closed. The song's about the Titanic.
I love it. It's one of those dark side. I mean, the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. It's fun. It's fun.
Did you guys? Okay, can I tell you one quick thing? Did you know? And maybe you did, but if you didn't, I'm so happy to share this. But do you know that this is the condensed version of the song, right?
Yeah, there was two more.
There's two more verses, and I'm looking them up with the Titanic thing, and I'm just like,
oh, do they match more with the Titanic theory?
So I'll just say them really quickly. The next verse is, she said, "I'm here on a shore leave, though we were miles at sea. I pointed out this detail and forced her to agree, saying, you must be the mermaid who took King Neptune for a ride. And she smiled at me so sweetly that my anger straight away died."
Wow.
And then there's one more. It says, if music be the food of love, then laughter is its queen. And likewise, if behind is in front, then dirt in truth is clean. My mouth by then like cardboard seemed to slip straight through my head. So we dived straight away quickly and attacked the ocean bed.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Titanic straight to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they took those lyrics out because the song was like 10 minutes long. So they had
and so I love one of the biggest folklore things that I love about this song is the recording. There's like a lot of really cool shit. Like I think this was one of the last. I lost you guys. Sorry. This was one of the last mono recordings to become a pop hit, I believe.
What's a mono recording?
A mono recording is when each channel, left and right speaker, is playing the same exact mix of the song. So like when you listen to like the 70s are cool because the 70s like the first stereo recording decade. So stereo recording is like if you're like mixing drums, you could put like the snare on the right speaker and then the hi-hat on the left speaker and the guitars over here. So you can sort of paint a picture with the sound.
Okay.
With a mono recording, however the mix is, it's like, so with a mono recording, if you're recording in a studio, imagine you have only one speaker and whatever that mix is on that one speaker is now being played on both speakers.
Okay.
So you can't mix left to right. You can just mix top to bottom.
Got it. Okay.
And so this song, because of that, because it's a mono recording and it's a pop hit, has like an old worldness to it.
Yeah.
That a stereo recording would have almost taken away. So it adds the spookiness to it. Because you can't really hear everything clearly. You can only hear what that mix is through one speaker.
It gives it this antiquity that we don't get now.
Yeah. So a stereo recording would have ruined this song. And it's just like, it's like this cool happy accident, because if they had waited like another 2 years, you would have gotten a different version of the song that might be cool, but I don't know. I love that it's in mono. I think
I don't
that's
know if it
amazing.
would have made you cry on ecstasy in this roof of a Brooklyn building.
I don't mean to talk too much ever in my life, but that never stops me. There was this, I heard that there was this, you said about acid, and there was a story that John Lennon of the Beatles.
Not John Lennon, the Cincinnati Reds shortstop.
Exactly. Yeah. So there was this story that Jonathan Lennon was in his Paisley Rolls Royce that he had, and he had a turntable in the Rolls, and he was taking acid, and the song came on, and he was in the back, and he just listened quietly. His like drivers like driving him around, and he hears the whole song. He makes the driver go to a record shop, picks up the single, puts it in the turntable, drops more acid, and then just drives around for hours listening to it on repeat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Working through his feelings. What a straight, like, can you imagine being like your Procol Harum and like you're looking back on it. It's like, you remember that afternoon when we made John Lennon jealous?
Yes. Oh, that's so cool.
You're like, that's enough. We don't need to keep going. We'll take our one hit wonder and leave. We did it.
Yeah. Then they became like a prog rock band in the 70s. It was so wild. The left turn that they make,
Right.
So.
God, I feel like I'm crunched for time. I have so much I can say about this, but I also have like, I don't know if we're on a time crunch here. I completely forgot that we do a guilty pleasure when we have a guest. I feel like I haven't done a guilty pleasure, so I don't want to spring it on you. Usually I have my guests thinking about it in advance before the episode.
I'm ready.
Do you have one ready? You have a guilty pleasure song? Let's hear it.
I have so many guilty pleasure songs. Technically, a guilty pleasure would be any R. Kelly song, but mine is Paula Abdul's "Straight Up."
Oh, it's so good.
Yep.
That was the first. I remember. I mean, I've been into music like so much since I was a kid, and I remember I heard Paula Abdul's "Straight Up," and I stopped, and I was like, what the fuck? And I wasn't like, as a kid, it wasn't allowed to like it. Like, yeah, because it's like the opposite of what like a cool boy is, like don't bounce out. And I remember I got my dad to secretly buy me the single on tape, and I told him, I was like, you can't tell anybody.
Don't tell my friends.
And so I have the cassette single, and I would listen to it quietly in my room. And there was one day where I was dancing to it, and I guess my door was cracked open a little bit, and my brother was watching me dance to the song, and he watched me dance to the whole song, and then he came in, and I was like, I will kill you if you don't. I would rather you tell people I was jacking off than ever say that I was solo dancing.
Oh my
God.
God.
Straight Up. Yeah, it's a killer song. But now I listen to it, as an adult, and I only say guilty pleasure because of the memories with it. But it's just an incredible song.
Oh, I love that song. Okay, hold on, let me get back to my meeting. It's trying to tell me to upgrade again. We're gonna get through this. Right now we're gonna watch 6 Degrees of Tommy Stinson with Jeremy Essig. I don't know if you've seen this, but comedian Jeremy Essig, he's brilliant. He can do this thing where he connects whoever we're covering to the basis of the Replacements in less than 6 steps. So
whoa, okay.
Let's watch it together.
Hey friends, welcome to a very cover-centric edition of 6 Degrees, where this week we try to connect Tommy Stinson to Procol Harum and their song, A Whiter Shade of Pale. If you were listening last week when I expressed my distaste for this song, Diane suggested I listen to the Annie Lennox version, which is both phenomenal and also led me down a rabbit hole of whiter shade covers, including a not surprisingly great version from Willie Nelson and a shockingly great version from Marcy's Playground. Yes, the Sex and Candy guy does an amazing version of Whiter Shade of Pale, which means I'm probably wrong about how good of a song it is, though that Miller Tells His Tale line is still terrible, terrible writing. Regardless, I also came across a version by the Box Tops, a band that featured a teenage Alex Chilton on vocals a few years before he went on to form Big Star, and decades before he was the inspiration for a song and played guitar on the first single from the Replacements' Pleased to Meet Me album, alongside bass from Tommy Stinson. So Procol Harum to Alex Chilton to Tommy Stinson, with a weird little praise for Marcy's Playground thrown in. Back to Diana Beck.
Oh my God, that was fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, Jeremy had it in his head that he didn't like the song, but I'm like, oh, I wonder if he's changed his mind now.
That's crazy. And he brought up the Box Tops. I remember that. Take a ticket for an airplane. Ain't got time to take the fast train. Fuck, that's incredible, man.
It's super fun.
Also, Marcy Playground has like that album has such a deep, like, I didn't even know that they covered that, because that first album, my current best friend is an amazing musician named Cesar Osorio, who has an album out on Spotify called Gone, and it's incredible.
Nice.
But we both became best friends in middle school when we had that album, and he was like, no one else has this album.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah,
I love those bonding moments over music like that.
Yeah, that's like back when we had to go to FYE and fucking buy the CD.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was thinking you're like way younger than us, but you're not. We have the same experiences. We're about we're about almost 9-10 years apart. It's not too bad.
No.
No. I'll before we have you promote yourself, I'll let you hang in for this. Because
good luck with that shit, Diane.
So we got another dressed up like a douche this week, but it's a funny one because it's from my husband. He didn't get the lyrics wrong. He got the whole message of the song wrong. So he told me yesterday, Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry. He thought it was like a 99 Problems type situation. Like, you ain't got a woman, you don't got to be crying. Like, no cry. I was like, no, dude.
That is so funny. That is so good.
It's so stupid. And so I put that on Twitter, and Mike McRae was like, tell Corbin I thought the same thing. So
oh my God.
No,
wow. It didn't cross my mind too.
No cry.
That's like a
but
that's like a different version of "Don't worry, be happy." No woman, no cry.
No woman, no problem.
Don't worry, be happy. That's so funny.
I don't know if it's true, but somebody told me that Bob Marley had like the greatest excuse for cheating on his wife ever. Like, he got apparently like obviously he's Bob Marley, right? So he's cheating on his wife, but she caught him, and so he told her, it's just like, look, you don't understand. Like, I'm an important man. I want to have lots and lots of children. There's no way you could survive the amount of babies that I want to put on this planet.
Holy shit.
Am I supposed to buy that?
Apparently so. Like, I don't know. I didn't read it. Like, somebody told that to me and they expected me to believe it. And I went, I want to believe it. I want
That's
it. I'm gonna
fucking
Fox
awesome.
Mulder that one.
You don't understand. Bob Marley's seed has to be.
Yeah.
That was a stage name, Bob Marley.
Really?
You know his real name?
Yeah. Robert Marley. A lot of people don't know that.
Bobby Biggerstaff.
Everyone hates that I do it, and I won't stop doing it. I will never not do that.
It's really good. I like that shit. All right. Before we let you go, where can the listeners see, hear more of you? Gush about yourself right now.
If you can figure out how to spell my name, it's that on all social media, because no one has my stupid name. So just go there or don't, and it's fine. Live your life.
Brag about it.
You can catch me on very select dates with Whitney Cummings, depending on where she'll have me. We'll be in Miami, Oklahoma, which is how it's spelled or said. tomorrow. You don't live there. You're not going to go there. You don't know anybody there.
No, I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed. I was like, Miami, yes. Oklahoma, okay.
Okay.
That's fine too. Yeah, man. No, I'm gonna be doing some stuff in Houston for the next couple of months, and then hopefully moving. So we'll see.
Where are you going?
New York or LA in
Oh, you don't even know
February.
yet.
I don't know yet. I don't want to. The last time I said I was gonna move, a pandemic happened, so I stopped making 3-month, 4-month calls.
On your big life decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know. So yeah.
Well, any
This
last
was,
words?
This was so much fun. I love talking music. I really love talking music so much. It's just as important as comedy to me. And rarely do I get to indulge in the way that we got to today. So man, I'm so happy that you guys asked me to be on this podcast.
Come back anytime.
It was so great. That's it. I loved it. And I love you both. So thank you.
To you, man.
All
Yeah,
right.
same, man.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Zahid.
it.
It was good
Yeah,
to
thanks,
see you.
guys.
Come back anytime.
Okay, you got it, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Take care. So much fun to talk to. I mean, when he started playing when he started like
Hold on, I
doing the
can't get rid
chords
of
and like
him.
taking through the
He's
12
still
notes.
listening.
It's
Shut
all
up.
I didn't know if I'm like supposed to actually leave or if you guys were like, and that's the recording. And then I was like, and then I leave, and you guys are like, why did he fucking leave? What a dickhead. That was for the
No.
podcast.
I
Okay,
feel
bye.
like I can't remember how to kick you out. There we go.
Okay, but
Bye.
the amount of times I've heard I can't get rid of him. Oh, I'm fine. I am fine, baby. But seriously, I am gonna go have lunch now. But I love you guys, and that was really fun, man.
Bye.
Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Take care. The 12 notes, like actually like taking us through like how music is structured, that was magical. That guy
That was really
great.
good.
And I hope he remembers to tell Whitney Cummings about my lands and titles in the south of France.
Hopefully he will. Hopefully she'll
Yeah.
listen to this and she just heard you. All right, real quick. We're running out of time. Next week we are doing our Patreon. Greg Warren won the drawing for this month's Patreon, and he's going to join us for the episode. We thought he couldn't, but he said he's going to join us, and we were going to be doing "Words Get in the Way" by Gloria Estefan.
Oh, that's in my wheelhouse. Oh,
This is
I
fun.
feel bad for you guys. It's gonna be a weird one. It's gonna get weird.
Oh, I'm excited.
I have complicated feelings about Gloria Estefan.
Ooh, and so does he, I think. All right, I'm excited.
That was a fun episode. Zod is
Great.
great to talk to.
Had a
That was
great
really,
time.
really a lot of fun. Yeah, we did it.
All right.
The shade is paler. Vogue.
Of course, I hail from a dysfunctional family. I'm sure it's fairly obvious at this point. And, I remember when I was a kid and I would ride in the back seat of the car while my dad was driving, my brother and I would argue. It would go like this. You look like mom. You look like mom. You look like mom. My dad would turn around and go, pow, pow. Now you both look like mom. Shut up.